There we go. Good evening, everybody. Hopefully that's us on live and you'll be able to pick us up in the next minute or two. And just checking that everything's working. Hopefully. Just check on here. What's going on here? Right, it looks okay on my phone. I'm just having a few problems on the big computer here. That looks okay. That looks okay. Right, just make sure this is working. Perhaps someone could maybe just let me know they can hear me. That'd be a good start. Let's make sure all these things are working. That's working. Yep, got sound. That's fine. So it's just that's right. Okay, I know what's. It's just that screen there. Perfect. Good. We can play a bit of music then now, can't we? All going well. I'll just get my page up. That's better. Right. Good evening. Great to see you all. Hope you're all doing well. Nice to be back at the Stagger Inn. This is officially my first Saturday night off this year, and here we are. But I kept this Saturday night off because it's a special occasion on Wednesday coming. So my aim tonight is that I'm going to have a birthday party. So it'll be a birthday party for me. It'll be a birthday party for barmaid Helen from Kelsey with her Do Re Mi's. And it'll be a birthday party for Ian Graham and Carluke and anyone else that celebrates a birthday on the 2nd of July. So we're going to have a good night, a bit of everything. We'll probably be here for a good while, so make yourself comfy. I did mention on Facebook before to make sure you've got plenty of snacks in so that you don't get hungry and eat the cat. So off we go. We'll have a Gay Gordon's to start, and the tablet's warming up as well. It's charging up with all the music and the dots for tonight. And we'll see how we go. And Isabel's even made a cake, so help yourself. Isabel's going to come around with the cake and pass it all out to you. Enjoy. But we'll start off with a good tune, one of my favourite, Andrew's March. hopefully that all came through nice and clear. Just check the... That sounds okay, I think. There's Pest from Shetland, Annie. Expecting a phone call, but maybe she got a crossword done without my help this week. I was doing a crossword the other day there. Rena, I've still not got the dots, believe it or not. Hopefully one day I'll get them and I'll be able to play them. It'd be quite nice to have a shot of playing it, wouldn't it? Lots of people tuned all over. There's Sue tuned in from New Zealand in the morning. Jim Campbell tuned in Oban, Colina and Strathpeffer. Louis listening in from Fergus, Ontario in Canada. Well, if you can hear me in Canada, then you should be able to hear me around the corner in Dalkeith if you're in the area. Anyway, good fun. So looking forward to tonight's show. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to share the video with your friends, that would be greatly appreciated. And Martin, I'm using the SD90, Ketron SD90 tonight. But here we go. We'll do a set of jigs here. Some Irish jigs, I think. Keep the fingers going and get them warmed up. I was playing at a wedding the other night there, and it was going like a bat out of hell, as they say. And it was... That got the fingers working, so that'll be nice to play a reasonably uke set of jigs. Here we go. I was trying to think of a tune there halfway through the set and I could not think of it. Pat Wong's tuned in there in Cork, coming through loud and clear in Cork. I hope you've taken a cocker out of a bottle. Good evening to all of the Largo Ward dancers. Hope you're all having a great time enjoying your dinner. Hello everyone at Largo Ward. I'm sure that you're having a great dance up there as well. And when you go home tonight, you can have another dance and come and join us later on when you get back. There's a jig, Pat, called the Cork Jig or something like that as well. I was trying to think of it, but could I think of it? Nope. There was a request there from Helen up in Shetland, lovely Shetland, and it says, could you please play, especially for Una Simpson, the Ali Flaws two-step, which is a great tune written by Jim Halkrow. I was just reading Fred's comment there saying, on my tablet, managed to cancel my YouTube subscription on the TV. You need to go into the App Store, Fred, and re-download it. So you need to click on the smart button, go to the apps and look for YouTube. Right, so especially for Una, here is the great tune, one of my favourite two-steps in the whole world. Can he beat it? It's the Ali Flaws two-step. This is not going to work now, is it? Here's a wee tune for Michael Wilkinson, if I can play it. I can't even play it. Bah! Herding sheep. It's funny. In fact, that's the night that we were sitting at the Weatherspoons outside Waverley Station, wasn't it? Just shouting "bah" at the general public walking past. They'll probably thought, where on earth's that coming from? Anyway, let's have a wee modern waltz. We'll have a nice tune. Hopefully, if I get it all right. There's Sands of Kuwait, hopefully. So here we go. It's a wee tune. I thought I'd play that one with it being Armed Forces Day, and that was the Sands of Kuwait. Sands of Kuwait. Is that there? That's interesting. Peter Wood tuned in just from Musselburgh, just down the road. So feel free to nip in with your box, Peter. Join in. You're about 15 minutes away maximum. Good to see you on. Hope you're doing well too. Good to see a few people on YouTube. We've got Evie Johnson, Pedro Layton, Gavin Duncan there up in Newborough and Fife, Maureen Tyndall, Old Grumpy's there in Dumfries. We'll get some 2-4 marches on for you very soon. And more people tuning in as it goes. I hear Rod's tuned in on YouTube. Fred says you're needing cheering up, Rod, so I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place. Now, I had a couple of requests earlier on, but despite that, I've still come on here tonight and I'm still going to play for you. So, what was I going to say to you all? Yeah, there you are. Here I am. We'll have a good night. Help yourself to the bar tonight. Betty and Helen are very busy, I believe, working their socks off. I don't know if there's any other bar staff in yet. If there's any bar staff in, you could let us know. Here's a 2-4 march for Old Grumpy, one of my favourite tunes, the Bonkin Hills. And then we'll go into the Balmoral Highlanders. And we better not play these for wee Annie, because she'll probably go mad. She can go and feed the sheep with Michael, if Michael's still there. Right, here we go. Canadian barn dance if you're dancing. You could be playing the drums, Ross. Off you go. Can't hear you. Push that button. No, push that. Oh. It is. It is a fairly new accordion, but I'm very much enjoying it. It's a bit lighter. It's brighter. It's got a lovely keyboard to play on it, and it's got a good mixture of instrument reeds on it as well. Speaking of that, we'll have a wee slow foxtrot. Right buttons here. There's my bassoon. Have we got a bassoon on here? That'd be quite nice, this one. I'll go for the belly set. Right, here's a wee slow foxtrot for you. Thanks very much, Trouble. Trouble is a way to help anyone that needs a drink. Helen says that there's so many people after a drink tonight from the bar that she's just basically said, leave your money on the bar and pay. Well, leave your money on the bar, or you can take a drink and pay later. I'll make sure that I play that, Jane. It's a lovely tune and one that I enjoy playing. I'm just making a good effort to top the glass up here with Stagger Inn sponsored beer. This is a Manfredini, so if it's a Manfredini accordion, then we have to drink Peroni beer. I think that's a fair enough excuse. Right, here's a wee slow foxtrot one. I'm sure you all know it's a lovely tune, Strangers on the Shore. A lovely tune. I remember when I used to play at West Barnes Inn on a Sunday night. Every now and again, just out the blue, there would be a gentleman come in and play that on the clarinet, and it's really nice. Dad used to always request it when he came in to play. He used to play a few other tunes. He used to play Sweet Georgie Brown and everything like that as well. So, good tune. Nice tune. Don't hear it so much, and you probably should hear it more because it's a lovely tune. Nice piece of music. Right. Oh, hello. Tiger's coming to work now, so make sure you're feeding plenty dreamies, and he'll give you some Tiger two-step moves. That includes cleaning himself, as always. He also does the radar position where he picks up a signal from people tuning in. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Good health. It is indeed, Anne. It is indeed. Right, not had a set of reels yet for tonight, so. Right, here we go. What reels are we going to have? I don't know if Sheila and Billy's in yet, Grant. I don't know if they're popping in tonight or not. But we'll certainly have those two tunes on at some point this evening. Let's start off with a tune that I can never remember the name of. There we go. I hope that didn't wake Billy up, mind. I'd be dancing about the bedroom. Fred, the Knights they're no fair drawing in yet. They've only just started the other day, have they not? When they had the summer solstice, or however it's a bit like pronouncing that Mary Cooter and Peter Cooter, summer solstice, something like that. Hi to Jasmine, tuned in all the way from Benbecula, fabulous. Great to hear that you're tuned in there. Mollycon, could I please have my favourite polka? That's the Grace Rennick polka, for those that don't know. A trip to Butte, yeah, we can get that in as well. Raymond says, is the bar open? So Raymond, we've got an extra barmaid on the night because it's that busy that people are struggling to get the drink served. So if you don't get served soon, just help yourself and leave the money on the bar, is what Helen said earlier on. So failing that, come and help yourself to a wee dram at the Stagger Inn. 10 o'clock's dram time for me. Not before. And Denise Phillips says any polkas, so I think on that note we will go on to the Grace Rennick polka. Eleanor likes this up in Inverness area as well. Quite a popular tune by Ian McPhail, probably one of the great popular ones. Tom Smith tuned in from Bonar Bridge tonight, back from Donnock to listen to the pipe band. Wee Annie could have came and listened to the pipe band with you too, she would have enjoyed that. Run, Ross. Grace Rennick polka there. Very sorry, Alec, to hear that Shona's still in hospital. and reading there potentially another 4 weeks. And I'd be grateful. I don't know if she'll be tuned in or able to tune in, but if you could pass on the best wishes from everyone here at the Stagger Inn that's tuned in tonight, and wish her a speedy recovery. It'll be good to get her back home to keep an eye on you, because we wouldn't want you to get lost in Fife. But all joking aside, best wishes to Shona. I do hope that she feels better soon. Indeed. Congratulations to Patricia Wilson today, who I have seen online has won a trophy at the Haddington Agricultural Show for one of the highest, I think it's the highest points out of all the categories, and she won quite a few first places as well for some reef making and home baking and everything like that. So congratulations, Patricia. Hope that you had a good day at the Haddington Show. Ruth Taylor says it's 30 degrees here in Brockville, Ontario. Thank goodness for air conditioning. There's no air conditioning in this house apart from opening the window, and then I can't say that the listeners, the neighbours might be too appreciative of that. And then we might get Detective Inspector Lyon coming round asking us to shut the window, so kind of got to be careful. Here for Irene was the next request. I'm going to try and... How am I going to do this? I'm still waiting on my computer. I'm still waiting on my tablet loading everything up. What we'll do is we'll do a trip to Butte. Then I'll come back to Leaving Lassies for you after. That's probably the easiest way of doing this. Right, here we go. A wee tune here from Andrew Hewson. Great tune, actually, called A Trip to Butte. And thank you very much to Jimmy Little, who got the name of the tune. Something Farewell to Banff. It's away up the screen, Jimmy. The comments are... Miss Mills, Farewell to Banff? I can't remember. You can let... I'll need to write... In fact, you can send it in a message. It's probably safer. Got your bus pass, Ross. so I'll have to look at your P45 and see what the conditions were. But all fairness, in all fairness, when I'm driving the car, especially on a long distance, all Ross probably hears in the passenger seat is all the way to Inverness and back. So I'll maybe forgive him, but maybe. Maybe. I was going to play something there that went in my... Oh, that was it, Leaving Lassies. It's on the computer here. Right, okay, especially for you, Kate. Leaving Lassies, hopefully, by Angus Cameron. Good fiddle player. Blame Ross, that was Ross drumming on that one, honestly. Can he get the staff? This chair's actually far too low for playing in. I'll need to get a big pillow or something to sit on. This is, if you're watching on the camera, this is the only way that you can pour a beer into this glass to make it actually look like a beer. Because if you pour it into the normal way, it just goes flat within seconds. It's pretty rubbish. Right, especially for Helen Dorimy. She says, what about the tune you composed for my birthday last year? Well, it would not be right if we didn't play it tonight, because it's no go be long. So, especially for you, Helen, is your own tune, written by yours truly. Do you know, you could really read the Doremies as a different way, you know. Helen's Doremies. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a fabulous birthday. And yeah, there's some great surprise news that you told me at Reston the other week there. So fair excited and looking forward to October. Right, here we go, especially for Helen, and a happy birthday as well, sharing her birthday with me on Wednesday. Nearly got it tonight. Some nights I get that a lot, and other things. Yeah, there's loads of birthdays on next week. We've got Maureen Tyndall shares birthdays as well, and Jamie Allen, he celebrates his birthday as well on Wednesday. There's quite a lot of Stagger Inners celebrating birthdays on Wednesday. So this is your party tonight. It's a free party, and if you have a birthday on Wednesday, you get a free drink from the bar. Just help yourself. Help yourself. Right, saying that, it's 10 o'clock. So I did say that we have a malt of the month, and tonight, because it's a special occasion and it's birthday week, it's a Bunnahabhain 18, and I'll enjoy this. And it's in my special glass, which says "Need whiskey right now." From Mary, that glass. Thank you, Mary. That's my favourite whiskey glass. And yes, I do put a bit of water in it. Just a wee drop. So, to everyone tuned in at the Stagger Inn tonight, I do hope you're enjoying yourself. It's very, very rare to get a Saturday night off. I was go up to town, and I thought, no, I'll do a Stagger Inn. I'll have my birthday at home with all my Stagger Inn family. So you'll just have to put up with me, I'm afraid, and listen to me waffling on later on. But cheers, everyone. Good health, and enjoy your evening. Happy hour. Sorry, Ian, I couldn't find the right jug, so that was the quickest one that I could find. Oh, that's lovely. Here's a wee set of jigs. Seeing as Ian's in, it's good to see you on. You've probably forgotten about this tune, but the very first tune was written on your, well, it's written on or for your 18th birthday. So how long's that ago? Because it's Ian and Neil Riddle's 18th birthday. It's a wee jig that I wrote. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do a tune called Kitty's Ramble, something else, and then Morrison's Jig and all other sort of Irishy sounding jigs. Don't ask me why I wrote an Irish jig for you when you live in Northumberland, but I did. So here you go. I hope you're doing well, pal. Ross, could you finish on the right note? It's that one. That one. No. We'll deal with you. Alright, I'll deal with you soon. You don't need to justify the band banter there. Yes, if everyone knows this, there's plenty of band banter goes in the Ewan Gallery Scottish Dance Band. We have a Sticks McGinty on the drums, ably named by Ian Lees, because he forgot Ian's name one night. And we've got a tube and a stick. There you go. Right, tablet's kind of warmed up now, that's good. Charles must have been at an Armed Forces Day event today, by reading that comment. Still marching up and down the hall backwards. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a wee selection of tunes here for the Armed Forces. Bearing in mind I'll probably get carried away and play too many. And you'll still be here at 11 o'clock listening to Armed Forces tunes. Pardon me. Let's get the right bit of music here. I'll do some retreat marches to follow this. On the one road. What does that mean? Or do you mean one for the road? You can't be going away already. It's just starting to warm up. Hello to Ronald Patterson. Hope you're doing well. Tuned in tonight. And Catherine Morgan. Hope you're doing well too. Kate's looking for a partner, but no a Manny. Is that not an aftershave on Manny? Let's have... Right, here we go. A wee military thing, if we can get it right. Is it that one, or is it that one? Nope. Nope. That was I don't know if Craig and Graham's tuned in tonight. I've just got visions now every time I play that of you two running about the house. Turning the volume down. Good fun, good fun. Right, some retreat marches. Let's do our best at this. See how we go. Not doing there. Look at that. That sounds about right. Just for good measure. Even have some bagpipe. You could do it that way instead. Do it that way. Maybe later. Remind me later if you're still on. Right, that's enough bagpipes to new. Good to see Jamesy on. Jamesy boy, he says sorry he's a bit late. He's been visiting his dad in hospital, so I hope your dad's doing okay. Jamesy. Pat says, what was the name of the last tune? That message has just come through, so I'm not quite sure how long ago it probably sent, but I'm guessing it's probably been a wee while ago. OTNO. Oh, Olaf, nice to see you on. Many happy returns, best wishes for forthcoming birthday. Well, as soon as you're tuned in, Olaf, if it's the same one that I'm thinking of, Country Dancer Olaf, I have a set of tunes for you. Hopefully you're still tuned in. I'm not sure if you are or not. You can maybe let me know, and hopefully this should work if I can find the right one. Last tune in the previous selection, Icy Mull. Battle's over, Icy Mull. It was Castle Dangerous. No, it was Balmoral, Castle Dangerous, When the Battle's Over, and Icy Mull, and then Amazing Grace just for a bit of fun. Right, here's for Olaf. I don't know if he's still tuned in or not, but Jigs, he was after a specific tune. There could be many Olafs in the world. Jigs. But he wanted it in a set for Polaris Jack. So I've got the original tune for Polaris Jack, if you're dancing it in your house or your heeds. And then we're going into a couple of Jack Hayes tunes. Miss Nora Coakley, Kathy Fraser's Jig, and then Rich Mora. They're all really good tunes. Put my jigs on here. And then we're going to do Ingram's 35 and that for Iris, who's asking for it. Right, here we go. A set of jigs here for the dance Polaris Jack, but with a Canadian twist. See how we get on. I'm glad you were dancing it in your head and not in person, because you would have probably been flying through the living room. And yes, Polaris Jack, a dolphin, navigating the straits of somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Right, here for Iris, we're going up to Orkney this time. And we'll play this one especially for Shona as well. I know Shona Lyle really enjoys this, so hopefully it speeds her in a good recovery on her way. Fred's asking his pal Baz how the vino's going. I don't know if Dad's on the vino tonight or not, but Dad celebrates his birthday on Friday, so we'll have some Gaelic waltzes after this, especially for Dad. I noticed Fred's been popping on saying nice t-shirt all night. For those that haven't seen it, this is our Stagger Inn t-shirt. So this is the t-shirt that we all wear on the Friday fun night at the Stagger Inn at Perth. And it's a great cartoon. It's one of my favourite cartoons. It was done by Smirk in Shetland, who's a fantastic cartoonist, and follow his page on Facebook if you can. And we released them again after a few years last year at the Stagger Inn weekend. And I was thinking that there's obviously people that don't get to go to the Stagger Inn weekend, or not able to go to the Stagger Inn weekend, that might like their own Smirk t-shirts. So they are on the shop, they're for sale. You can have your own Stagger Inn t-shirt with me and Tiger. The only thing I've got to warn you is that they're on the shop, but you have to wait a wee bit, because the company that we work with, the only reason that we can get them at the price we do is because we bulk load them. So normally in January we order a whole load for the Stagger Inn weekend. So if you do order one on the shop, that's great, but the order won't go in at the end of July. Then they'll be made and then they'll be sent out But I noticed Grant's already spotted that they're online, so so there's the link. Mum's just copied the same link, I think, below mine, so there's no reason that you can't see the link. But if you'd like to have your own Stagger Inn t-shirt and wear it on Friday night or whenever we're playing, then you can wear it. That's why I took the Friday night bit off, because I thought you could wear it any night you like. And I believe it's good quality, so I've been told. We'll see. Right, well, I will say, someone did say that the necks are a lot nicer on these ones than the white ones. Not had a quick step, so let's have some quick steps. You can jive about your living room. We'll have a set of Irving Berlin tunes, I think. Good for a beach cover-up. Good evening, Mike. Good to see you on. Hope you and Donna's doing well. I was just getting my Irving Berlin tunes there ready. We'll play these for Ian Lees. I know he likes a bit of Irving Berlin. And yeah, hope you're doing well, Mike and Donna. Good to see you on. We must have a catch-up sometime. If you're ever up this way, do let us know. And if I'm ever down your way, I might just pop in. You'll say you'll be shutting all the curtains and locking the doors. Run away. Right, here we go. something like that. Something like that. Right, here for Ray and Sandra, who are tuned in tonight. Or Raimondo. That's the one. A wee set of border tunes was your request, so we'll see what we can come up with. Good to see Stuart Anderson tuned on. I'm guessing you've got a night off as well, so you could have been up here having a tune here, and then we could have 2 accordionists playing. Right, let's see if I can remember these tunes. I was just a laddie, all together now. By the all. Wee set of bordery tunes there. Right, what's that tune I was going to play? can't remember what it was. Right, I'll play a set of tunes for Trouble. Now, you wouldn't believe this, but you would. Well, maybe you wouldn't. But Trouble is now officially a lifetime member of the Stagger Inn. I'm telling you, she's a lifetime member of the Stagger Inn. Because she went away and she's got a massive big tattoo on her arm now that says Stagger Inn on the road, and it's got the Stagger Inn logo with the accordion and the stag. And I think she's mad. I couldn't believe it the night I seen it. You could write a story. I couldn't believe it the night I seen it. But there on her arm was a stag. A great big stag with a big accordion. Anyway, she's now a lifetime member of the Stagger Inn, and she loves Irish music. So I'm going to try and play some Irish tunes. She asked for all these rebel tunes, but for all these rebel tunes, but I'm not sure what ones we'll do. We'll try and play the ones that you might recognise. But yes, if you'd like a tattoo, then speak to Joyce. She'll give you all the information on how to do it. Right, here's a wee set of Irish waltzes sticking with that theme. We'll play these for Morton McBurney if he's tuned in, because he likes a Pride of Erin waltz, although you'll have to get the broom out the cupboard, or a mop, depending who's in your house. And Brenda Jones is asking for a Black Velvet Band. So get your mops ready. Right, here we go. Sing away. Your turn, off you go, here we go. Oh, alright. You're dancing, Morton. All together now, here we go. Right, Joyce, can you turn the light out on your torch out on your phone, because you're disturbing the neighbours? Get in trouble for that. You're flashing your torch out the window at people. Oh, dearie me. Mad. Mad. We're all mad here. As long as you're enjoying yourself. That's the main thing. What's this here? try that. Where would that be? Oh, great singing tonight. Is that me, Fred, you mean? I'm sure that's me, you mean, isn't it? Aye, thank you. It's about time that I'm glad that you've got your hearing done and that you can hear me singing and that you're following my singing. I've been practicing for ages, you know. Right, here's a wee tune that I wrote on the 31st of December last year. The wee, hopefully get this right here. This is a wee slow air that I wrote for Mary Kemp, who's hopefully still tuned in. It's a wee tune called Lay Ochre. And it's named after our house up there in Orkney, but also it has a meaning to the Royal Oak, HMS Royal Oak, and the changing of the white ensign and looking over Scapa Flow. You have my address for my P45. I'll be in touch, Ross, sorry. You take care of yourself. Good that you was able to tune in tonight as well. So here for Mary is a wee tune. It's a wee slow air that I wrote called Lay Ochre, and I hope you enjoy it. I just don't have the seaside effects, but you can make your own seagull noises at home. there you go. Something a wee bit different. We've been playing sort of faster music all night, so that's a slow air that I wrote for Mary Kemp up in Orkney. Right, a wee request from another Mary, from Mary Reid, who's tuned in tonight. Hope you're still tuned in, Mary, because you probably wrote that comment ages ago on YouTube, and I've just not seen it in time. But it's a great Stagger Inn favourite of many, apart from Shona McFadgen. If you're tuned in, Shona, you'll know enjoy this. Yes, the crack at Clashmore Hall. I'll play it like a French accordion player. There we go, that was the crash at Craigmore Hall and the Kiwi Snipers. Obviously, it's the crash at the crack at Clashmore Hall and the Kiwi Pipers. Just curious for those that are still up with me tonight. Obviously, we're celebrating. Imagine having to play for your own birthday party. What's that all about? Anyway, I'm quite happy to do it. What I am curious is what your wee dramas tonight. What is your can I play the Cape Breton Fiddlers Welcome to Shetland? Do you know how hard that tune is? That's it. That's the one, Grant. That's the tune. Done. There. Next request. What is your preferred dram tonight if you're joining us for a wee birthday party celebration drink? And I hope you're having a dram if you've got a dram as well. Edna Mile says we're still here. That's good. That's good. That's what it's all about. You're all welcome at the Stagger Inn anytime. Bacardi and lemonade as the white wine's finished. Dearie me, I hope it's not the bottle. I might see you hopefully in October, Irene. All going well. Sylvia, if I tried to play it properly, it wouldn't sound right, so it's better just to do it that way. Right, I'm not going to the wee room, but I'm actually going to the fridge. So I'll be back in a minute. You can all chat about yourself and see what you've been up to. Speak to each other, because that's the whole social thing of the Stagger Inn. It's speaking to each other. And you can tell me what day the bin's supposed to go out as well. That'd be really helpful. And those in the YouTube lounge, don't you think you get away with this because everyone in Facebook in the main bar's speaking and they're all asking each other how they are and what they're drinking, and you in YouTube, you're not really speaking to each other, so get chatting and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Well, I'm not sure what's going on in YouTube, Tiger, but no one's speaking to each other. Right, come on. Up. Come on. These are from your loyal followers, so they are. This is from all your fans, yes. All your fans looking for you. There you go. There's a few of them in your chair. Oh, a fireball. Very nice. Oh, pink gin and lemonade. Now, pink gin, no, I'm thinking of sloe gin. I used to, back when I was younger, a wee while ago, I used to drink sloe gin, which is really nice. slow gen was really nice. Yeah. Right, here's a wee request for something. I'm not sure if I can do it on here, but I'll have to try. Bear with me 2 seconds. That's banging away on the side of that. Back a bit. Stop it. Oh, that's it's the door. Right, try this one. Here's a wee request. It's just shot up the page there, so I can't even remember who put it on. Oh, Stan's celebrating his birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Stan! Oh, you'll have to wait till 12 o'clock and we'll play the other half. Right, here is a request for a lovely tune called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You've had your lot, mister. You behave yourself. I've not played this for a long time either, so we'll see how we go. That one. You've had yours. You've had it. You've had it. Where are you going? That's no go work. You're sitting in front of the tablet, Tiger. No, that's not your Dreamies, that's Pringles. Tiger. Oh, I'm going to get attacked now, see. Right, here we go. I have an intro for it. Where can you buy a pie? Oh. There was a. I'm trying to think what Sticks McGinty told me the other night. It was Paddy that went for a job interview. No, I'm not even going to tell you a joke because I'll forget the thing. Right, especially for Dad, because his birthday's on Friday. And it would have been my grandma's if she was still here with us on the Sunday. We went 246, it used to go. Good old reason for a family celebration. Anyway, I hope you're tuned in tonight, Dad. I hope you've also got a wee dram in your hand. Nothing that Sticks has told you can be repeated here. Well, no. This one, I think we would have got away with it, but you'll just have to ask him yourself and see what he comes up with. I've got loads of Gaelic waltzes. It's always really hard to pick a set to play. Alright, here we go. Here's a nice tune. I don't actually know the name of this one. It's followed with a tune called Ellie, and then we'll have to do Dad's tune as well. Here's one you can sing along to. All together, here we go. Random home. Here's Dad's tune, here we go. That's for Dad's birthday, because Dad's birthday's on Friday. Right, a wee request for Anne Robb. Anne says, a quick step please for hubby and my 52nd anniversary on Monday. Wow. That's great. Where's my... I'm going to be cheeky. Because you have... requested just an ordinary quick step, I'm going to be cheeky. There's a tune that I enjoy playing and I don't get a chance to play it much, and the reason being is because it's more than 32 bars. So normally when you do a quick step at these dances you've got to stick to 32 bar sequences, but Davy Patrick, when I first started learning the accordion, Davy and Alistair always played a tune. They played The Lady as a Tramp followed by this other tune that I didn't know what it was until I realised that the reason that you never hear it much is because it doesn't have enough bars to fit a dance, an old-time dance or a sequence dance. It fits an ordinary quick step though, so I'll play the great tune The Lady is a Tramp, which is a really fantastic quick step. But then I'm going to go into the tune that Davey used to play when I used to sit on a Sunday night at 15 years old listening to him playing and watching him playing. And it's a wee tune, some of you might know it, some of you might not, but it's a great tune called This Is My Lovely Day. So especially for you and your hubby on Monday, wishing you a very happy 52nd wedding anniversary to Anne Robb. So Lady is the Tramp and This Is My Lovely Day. It's a great tune. I hope you like it now after giving it that big build up. If not, we're stuck. Just replenish the stocks. Right, that should have given you time to get your partners ready. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. But it's a great tune, that. This is my lovely day. and then the second line is, it's this is the day I shall remember when I'm dying. It's a bit mad, but it's just a really catchy tune. I enjoy it. Anyway. Grant, I've got your tunes in this wad of folders. I need to speak to Ian, actually. Ian, and get a digital copy, because if I can get a digital copy, I can put it straight onto the tablet. The Robertson Rant and Targawi Loup and all sorts of stuff in there. Paper Roses, is that? No, that's something else. I can't remember what it is. Right, while I'm on Quick Steps, I found this before, so I'm going to see if it works or not. Right, here we go. Sing up, Gabba. It's good practice for October. Oh, yesterday. Now, Dad's asked for a request, and because it's his birthday on Friday, he top trumps the other requests, I'm afraid, so... Get this one. Funnily enough, it's another quick step, but with brass. Right, give me 2 seconds, let me find this. Practicing. Right, don't know where this is going to go, but we'll do our best. Good evening, friends. Oh.
Time to get together. It's time to light the lights.
Right, come on, you. Won't you come? Come on. Come on. You've got work to do. Come on. This is your work. Come on. Up here. Time to work. It's your work time, aye. That was your break. You've had your break. Right, get back to work. Back to work, please. No slacking. No slacking in this house. Get to work. Right, ready, and. You're supposed to dance. Ready, and. He says, you're off your head, Dad. He says, you're off your head. 10 out of 10 if you named a dance, so. Tribute to the Borders. Yes. Oh, he's away again. Hey, I didn't tell you could go away. You've got work to do. There's the public's waiting to see you. It's alright, Fred, I'll no sing. No even the Trowie song, seeing as you've said no singing. That's it. No singing the night, ladies and gentlemen. I've been banned. Right, who's going to the Shetland Festival? Put your hands up. There must be people going up to Shetland. I don't know if Helen's still here or not, or if she's away. Jane Porter straight in there. She got tribute to the Borders. Who else is going to Shetland? Good to see Douglas on there. Nice to see you on, Douglas. Hope you're well. Looking forward to next year. It'll be great. I'll tell you something. It's something very, very lucky about the Scottish Country Dancing playing is I've been very lucky to see a lot of the world. Just a minute, who is the boss? Well, he's the boss. It's not me. He pays me to play. Gives me dreamies. Right, here's a nice wee tune as well. It's a slow one. Sorry, I'm on slow mode at the moment. But I need a slow one after that one. Boop, 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 boop. Where's Right, here we go. See how this goes. And then we'll do JJ. Well, that wasn't meant to be what I was going to play, but I was actually looking for something for Grant and I couldn't find it. Good to see Johnston Craig on. Hello, Johnston. How are you doing? Long time no see. That's coming on 5 years now that I've been away from the Royal Snail. Fail. Royal Mail. That's the one. Couldn't get the right word right there. Right, Grant was looking. That's what Grant was looking for the. Right, here we go. Whew. Hey. This is madness. I've not been on this late at a Stagger Inn for a long time. Turning midnight. But do you know what? I did say I was coming on tonight. It's birthday week, so it's night off. I'm quite happy to spend the night playing rubbish. so if you've got any tunes you want, just ask away. But good to see you on. Share the video if you can as well. The more people, obviously, the merrier. So that's a big party, isn't it? And the malt of your month, if you're joining, if it's the malt of the month is free tonight. Just speak to Helen, Betty, or Joyce. Trouble, and they'll sort you out with something. Down in the wee room underneath the stairs. That's where everybody's happy, isn't it? Aye. Right, Johnston Craigie, you must have a favourite tune that you like hearing, and you're not here that often, so give me a name of a tune that you like to hear on the old squeeze box. And if I can play it, I'll play it, and if I can't, then I'll get someone else to do it. Hey. Right, in the meantime, here's a wee set of modern waltzes. 2 tunes requested literally back to back, Dark Island and Hector the Hero. And we'll definitely save how do I get out of this thing? This happened last time that I pushed buttons and right. 2 modern waltzes. Hector the Hero and the Dark Island. Or the Dark Island and Hector the Hero. Right, you'll have to excuse me because I am going to the wee room underneath the stairs, which is a very jolly place, you'll have to know. Port Seaton's national anthem. Oh, brilliant. Well, we can do that one. I was just thinking there when I went to the wee room underneath the stairs. Well, you behave yourself. You've had your turn. It's my turn now. Where? Yes, remember that palaver? That's where this all started, you know, washing your hands, singing happy birthday at the same time. Of course I've got my jammies on. The Stagger Inn is jammies and Stagger Inn t-shirts. That's it's always been. Far Side of the World's a great tune, yeah. Right, okay, especially for Johnston Craig then. I can only apologise. I will try and learn some Tideline tunes for you. I could probably play them, but I'm playing safe. You had your hankies out there waving the boats away. Oh, the body. Right, Lara's theme. Yes, I meant to play that at the beginning of the night. Let's do a wee Viennese swing type thing then. Oh my goodness, there's Adam Galloway up at this time of night. What are you doing up at this time of night? Happy birthday to you, because you celebrated your birthday yesterday. Well, actually, because it's 9 minutes past midnight, you celebrated your birthday on Friday. You had a great day. Here we go. Lara's theme, and we'll play another couple of continental tunes with it. let you yodel this time. Here we go. Domino hoo-hoos. Ah, dearie me. Dad's only drink day start with a tea. Tuesday, first day, today, that day. Well, he's no on the night, Adam. So we'll make sure that we'll make sure we tell him though. Right, let's have some slow foxtrots. Irish. Back to Irish for trouble here. That's tuned in. Right, sing along if you know the words. If you don't know the words, take your shoes off and hum. There we go. Wee Irish set. I do like Oh Danny Boy. If you've ever watched the movie Brassed Off, it's one of the most powerful movies that you could physically watch. It's about the mining community and the brass bands going to the competitions and winning. But really, you cannot sum up. If you've not watched Brassed Off, then you're really missing one of the best movies in the world. And I've watched a lot of movies, and you've probably watched a lot of movies too, but that's the one to watch. Right, Tiger is getting plenty of dreamies. I can assure you that, Adam. Uncle Ewan has given Tiger loads of dreamies. Have you seen the size of him? Just look. He's on a dreamy diet. Keeps dreaming that he's had some, but he's not. That's a joke, by the way. He's dreaming some. Anyway, we'll have a couple of tunes, but we'll finish up about one maximum. Right, here is especially for William Nicol. Good to see you on, William. I will catch up with you. It's been a very busy week, as always. I think every week's a busy week. But William celebrated his 92nd birthday yesterday, which is fantastic, William. I know that you're doing well, and he's also written a lot of really nice tunes as well. Some nice waltzes too. But he's asked me if I could play for him a wee tune called Rural Life, which is a nice tune. And actually, I just happened to play it the other week, which is perfect timing. I'm just looking for something here. Right, I'm going to do something that I wasn't planning to do here. I don't know if this will work, and you'll have to give me a wee minute when I do it. Right, okay. This should hopefully work. I'm going to play two tunes, William. You asked me to play Rural Life along with Yellow in the Broom. But I don't have Yellow in the Broom handy, but what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to play Rural Life straight through, right through the set. But then I'm going to play a tune that you wrote so that people that are tuned in at the Stagger Inn show tonight can hear the music that you've written. So we're going to play Rural Life, and then we're going to go into the waltz that you wrote, which is called Memories of May and Bill Nicol. And I hope it all works out fine. So before I do, I'm going to have a dram. So to your birthday, your 92nd birthday yesterday, Bill, many happy returns. And for everyone else, here we go with Rural Life, once straight through, into Memories of May and Bill Nicol, which is a lovely tune. And I'll do my best. There we go. That second tune. I hope you enjoyed it. That was written by William Nicol himself, 92 years old yesterday, and wrote that tune. Bonny tune. Right. What we'll do, I think we'll do half an hour of A to Z ish, so to speak. And then I'm going to go out to a disco up the tune. If Mum's tuning in, she's saying, no, you're going to your bed. That's where you're going, you're going to bed. I don't even know if Dad's still up. Dad might still be up. Me and Dad used to go out to the shed. We once built a shed out the back. Oh, there's John White. Thank you very much, John. I've just got a wee text message from you. Hope you enjoyed it. Dad and me built a big summer house out the back. We wrote a tune. You've played it on here before many times. Summer House, the Summer House. It's a lovely wee tune. Can't remember how it goes, never. It just comes back to me when I play it. But we used to put on a rhythm of music. So we'd put on a rhythm, like, for example, we'd put on this. And then what we'd have to do is we'd have to sing a song to it. But we'd have to make it up. So it'd be something like, you'd get 3 words, like, so you'd get the words dad, and then you get the word birthday, and then you get the word like car, and you'd have to write a song. So we used to sit in the summer when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. Oh, Dad is driving in his wee red car, it's his birthday, and you get the message. And we used to go on and we'd make up all sorts of songs. Some of it was a load of rubbish, and other stuff was really good. But I could just picture the people walking past in the wee path down the back. We'd be laughing at what we were playing. Anyway, right. So if you'd like a tune, I'm going to put my headphones off for this, I think. Right, okay. Oh, that's great. We'll do. We better do one thing before we do, don't we? We better do the Trowie song. Right, okay. So I'm getting fed up with singing this every time on my own. And I feel that you could all join in. And every time that I sing it, I don't feel that I can hear you singing. So I've decided tonight that I'm going to make sure that you all join in. So, there we have it. Right. There are the words for the Trowie song. Right, is that up on the screen? Yes, that is. Good. Right, you've got no excuses. No excuses. Right, here we go with the Trowie song. The Trowie song, and it's been a pleasure being in your company tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed your company, and I hope that you'll come back and join me again sometime soon. Like I say, it's been nice to have a night off. It's a Saturday night, so very unusual because normally I'm on a Friday night. But you know what? Friday night can be Saturday night as well. So cheers everyone, good health. If you've got a birthday, along with me, Jamie, Maureen, Helen, Ian, and anyone else on the 2nd of July, have a great one. The height of the night, they light the pretty lights and they dance the Trowie Inn. They twist and they burn and they brew up and they burn and sing the songs as we own. And they sit and watch and they fall to crash, got to shit them all the roads. They gig on the turn and the heat you got them turned and the hard amongst the clods. I've been a warrow on the trows today, I've been a warrow on the trows. They're the vilest pest to heresy and the grufty with a brother reading, and the worst of them is is the pity hefting with just one claw. He'll clue you to boo you and you please and you've been a warrow on the trow. Right, we'll do it from the top this time instead of the second chorus. Take a pity lock across the hills, runs out Trowie burn, and the folk that wander there at night see the Trowies at every turn. See the pity hands on the sheeny clays and the clays upon the tays. And if they meets a neighbour man, he'll turn to thee and say, I've been a warrow on the trows today, I've been a warrow on the trows. With the wildest best he ever seen and the grubby, with a blood reading and the worst of them is it's the pity hefting with just one claw. He'll clue you to boo ye please and you've been a warrow on the trows. At the height of the night, they light the pretty lights and they dance at Trowie Inn. They twist and they turn and they brew up and they burn and they sing their songs as we own. They sit and watch and the folk they catch glove to shift them out the rods. They gig on the turn when they see you got them turned and the hudder rocks the clouds. Been a warrow on the trows today, they been a warrow on the trows. They're the wildest best they've ever seen and the glovedy with a blood reading, and the worst of them is it's the pity hefting with just one claw. He'll clue you to boo ye please and you've been a warrow on the trow. Been a warrow on the trows. Right, okay, fire your tunes into the chat box for the next 20 minutes and I'll blast through a few tunes, see what I can do. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your support as always. It's been great having your company. Thank you for coming to my free birthday party. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And we'll see you again sometime soon. Skål. It's Dan's birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to your Stagger and our friends, Stan. You get to bypass everyone with St. Anne's Reel. Sorry, Charles. Thank you very much. Well, there we go. As I do my thank yous, we'll play Stagger Inn Polka. Thanks for tuning in. You'll notice I can't playing, speaking, playing, spoon in the jar, spoon in the jar, and the jar over and spoon in the jar. I've not got a fez either. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been great having your company. Like I said, it's been a wee while since I've been on. Well, it's not really actually. It's beginning of June that I came on last time. But I did keep tonight off, and I kept tonight off on my birthday. So that I thought maybe I might have a night off and go out. Maybe I might not. But I decided that I would come on and have a tune with you all, because at the end of the day, you're my Stagger Inn family. And I appreciate every one of you. So for those that also share their birthday with me, I wish you a very happy birthday. And I do hope you have a great day. And thank you for all your support as always. That's my headphones, which keeps me going. And I look forward to seeing you all somewhere soon. Don't know where. I'll be on the moon next week, so if you want to come to the moon, Elon Musk's sending tickets, so you can buy a ticket from Elon Musk. Failing that, you can find me. No, I'm playing for a wedding next week. You better not come there, because if there's 56 of you gate crashers from Stagger Inn come to a wedding, well, God knows what might happen. You might tear the roof down. But it's been great having your company. Thank you very much. I appreciate every one of you, and I'm just glad that this community is still going on 5 years strong. I mean, 5 years ago, when things struck, and here we are, still looking after one another, looking out for our friends, being a big family to each other, whether it's in person or a virtual thing. I think that says a lot about what's come out of lockdown in a positive way, and I thank you all for being on that ship. And as that ship keeps going, I salute you all and bid you farewell. Good night. Thank you.